Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Dropping Down from the Rafters podcast here on Tone in Entertainment. Joining me on this episode is Max Castellanos. How you doing, Max?
I'm doing good, Tony. How are you?
I'm doing great. Man, it's been, we ran into each other, or we met each other officially in April back at Atlantic All-Star Wrestling. And we did a quick, 4-minute interview. And I was thinking the other day, I was like, man, I keep seeing you pop up on Instagram with video after video, doing so much cool stuff. I feel like 4 minutes definitely wasn't enough, but of course we were under extreme time restrictions at that event. And I was like, you know what? I got to make another interview happen with Max. He's doing a lot of cool stuff. So definitely thank you for coming on to the podcast, Max.
Hey man, I appreciate you having me, dude. So we're definitely going to cover a lot more stuff. I'm sure you're full of questions, and let's do it.
Yeah, I was going to say, what really got my attention was not too long ago, you were on episode with Chris Van Vliet, who, of course, interviews the biggest dogs of the dogs, and you were on his show. But I think only one other time besides you do I remember him getting the tables turned on him. I know MJF stuffed an omelet down his mouth at one point, made him eat an omelet. But other than that, other people are pretty, chill with him, but you essentially blew smoke up at him during the interview.
Yes, I did, Tony, but I'll stop you right there. Let's do this. I have right here a glass of whiskey, my favorite glass of whiskey, and I have my bottle of whiskey. So I'll tell you what, I'll fill up this glass, and by the time I'm done with it, unless you have me entertained, I might pour another glass and we can continue. But if not, when the glass is done, this episode is done. How does that sound?
Okay, that's fair. It's my job to keep you entertained. Yes.
Okay.
So
right.
Drink up, my friend. I wish I would have known. I would have had that. I should go grab I got a bottle of Cuban rum over there. I should have joined you in this. I would have known. It's a gentleman's conversation tonight here on Tone in Entertainment.
Now you know for next time. I didn't get to get my cigar, and plus I don't like smoking indoors, but I'll do a glass of whiskey. And whoever's watching, if they want to grab their glass of whiskey or a 6-pack of beer, let's do it. But next time. And going back to Chris Van Vliet, yes, I did blow smoke in his face. And I honestly didn't have planned, to blow smoke in his face. The thing is if you go back, and same like I've said in a couple of the podcasts, if you go back, I offered him a cigar. And he could have said no. But he had to add something at the end, and that's what bothered me. He said, no, thank you. Smoking is bad for you. You get what I'm saying? I mean, I blew smoke in his face, cool. That secondhand smoking is a lot worse than the smoke coming in. But I could have punched him. I could have slapped him. I could have pushed him. I could have grabbed him, give him a maximizer, boom. So he can feel what really pain is in the ring. I just blew smoke. And also I created a wave of everybody's offended. Oh, poor Chris, this and that. Hey, he could have hit me back. He could have done something. I mean, tell me, Tony, am I wrong?
No, you're right. I mean, I know Chris personally. I know he had trained to be a wrestler. I know he's been impaled by Gangrel with a DDT before. So he has some experience in the ring. But come on. I mean, anybody standing up against you to go and fight you, I mean, that probably is not the smartest decision.
You are correct. I mean, I am 6'2". I am 235 pounds. I am a trained professional boxer. I am a trained professional wrestler. I am a legit badass. So yes, you are right. And at the same time, that tells me that Chris is a very smart guy.
Ah, okay.
Very smart guy.
I mean, if I was in Chris's shoes, let's be honest. I mean, I'm probably even less tough than he is, so I would have done the same thing.
Let me ask you a question, Tony. Do you smoke?
I do not smoke, no. But I think if we were hanging out sometime, I don't know, I might be convinced to, try a Max cigar though.
So how come you don't smoke? That's my question.
How come I don't smoke? I never I don't know. I was just brought up that way to not smoke, and I just don't like the way, clothes smells and stuff like that. So that's kind of like my reason. I just never did it. And I think I'm old enough to not give into the peer pressure at my age right now.
And I'll stop you right there. If you're smoking cigarettes, if you're smoking $2 cigars, then of course your clothes is gonna smell. But if you spend on $100 cigar, quality tobacco, I mean, I got women with me all the time. I've never once heard, hey, you smell like smoke. Hey, your mouth tastes like smoke, or never, not once. And that's the difference, that you're probably smoking the gas station cigars, and then you get a bad, you get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Do you drink?
I do enjoy a nice beverage from time to time.
Okay, no Coca-Colas. I'm saying, do you not like a nice glass of whiskey or a cold beer?
I like a cognac. I like a beer. I like a whiskey, a rum, a vodka. I'm not a.
All right,
I don't discriminate.
Then you and me are gonna get along a lot better than me and Chris.
So
keep going.
Yeah, I would definitely have a glass of whiskey with you for sure. The next time we meet up in the same area, for sure, we'll definitely have a glass of whiskey or whatever you want to drink. I can hold my own when it comes to that for sure. Yeah, Cherry Bomb says, "Oh, Toned better bring his A game tonight. That's for damn sure." I'm here with Max Castellanos. Got to bring my A game tonight for sure. Now, recently, I mean, you were talking to Chris during his podcast, and you recently are the star of a movie that recently came out called The Sacred Mask. So yes. Give me a little detail. I actually have watched the full movie, and it's very good, and I was very entertained by it, and you did a great job in it. And so just give us a little insight about how the whole project came together. Were you part of the reason? Did somebody write this script for you, or was this your story idea?
So no. I was casted for this film. I had to do my audition and everything to the director and the producers and everything. So the way it worked was they were looking for a Hispanic wrestler. This was a couple of years ago. And there was a couple of people that messaged me like, hey, you should do the audition. I think you would do well. And I'm the type of person that I'd rather try for myself. And if I failed, then okay, so be it, at least I tried. So I submitted my audition and I got a call back. Went into the meeting with the producer, with the agents and everything. And they offered me, said, would you like to be part of this project? And I said, first, the most important thing is what's the pay? They gave me the numbers. I said, okay, I can do that. And at the same time, it gives me the experience to learn how to start acting, because it's very hard for your first film to be a starring role. And I was privileged enough to be given that. And I said, I got to knock this one out of the park. So I'll give you a little more to my story when it comes to Sacred Mask. Is everything was done in film, edited, etc. And one of the hard drives actually was dropped by accident, and it broke. So it deleted about 45 minutes of the movie.
That's heartbreaking. As a video producer myself, that's heartbreaking right there. Yes.
Yes. So I got an email. I remember it was late at night, and I got an email explaining what had happened. So we all had a meeting, and basically, I mean, the pressure was on me. It's like, well, if Max is willing to be with us and film again, we can do this project and finish it. But if Max says no and taps out, then basically we cannot continue this project. So much money has already gone in, etc. My face is already half of the movie. I said, okay, let's do it. And we shot everything again. And I think it was even better than the first time, to be honest with you, because I had understood the character, which is Jesse. Is a very angry kid. At the same time, I can say I have my anger inside of me that you see in the ring when I wrestle. But basically, Jesse, in a summary, Jesse loses his father in a wrestling ring, so he's a second-generation wrestler. So he wrestles because it helps him and his grandma pay the bills, but he actually, deep inside, he hates it. Because all it reminds him of is basically his dad dying in the ring. Then the story unfolds, which is basically in the Mexican tradition, how important is a mask in the luchador life. And yeah, man, we killed the project, but it really was a test to my character to see if I'm a quitter. And that's one thing that I've said before. You can hate me, you can love me, all in between, but you can't call me a quitter, because I just won't quit. I'm hard-headed, I'm resilient, I have the perseverance. And a lot of people don't like that, because a lot of people cannot relate to that. And that's cool. I'm not supposed to be your average guy. I'm not supposed to be too relatable. But at the same time, some people look at me and be like, man, I wish I had Max lifestyle. I wish I looked like he did. I wish I could smoke 5 cigars a day. I wish I could have a glass of whiskey and then go to the gym and train for 2 hours. I wish I would have one, not two, but maybe 3 girlfriends. You know what I'm saying? But yet again, it comes with a lot of hate at the same time. So yes, Sacred Master was a great project. It's available on Amazon Prime. It is soon going to be available on Tubi as well. And then there's going to be copies coming out where me personally, I'm going to autograph and I'll be shipping them out. So I'll be posting that on my Instagram at Max Castellanos 80. Whoever wants to place an order and get a DVD, you can have that with you. Also, there's going to be Sacred Mass 2 in the works coming very soon. And we're going to have pretty big names in the movie where, you know, they're big wrestler names. I can't drop a lot of information on that, but we're looking forward to that in 2025.
Oh, well, I got to give you a lot of respect for going back and finishing the project. I think some people maybe in your position would have been like, well, I've gotten paid. I did my job. I'm done. This is your guys' problem. But I think not only did it pay off for you for showing that you had your heart and soul into this project, but not only the benefits of a part 2 now in the works too. So sometimes you have to give a little to get a lot more in return. And I feel like maybe that's what you did here with the completion of this movie, because it could have been a complete, maybe a financial disaster and failure had you not come back and finished up what footage was lost.
Correct. Absolutely. And the way I like to see it, the same thing, I'll tell you this, Tony, is I don't forget, as arrogant as and cocky, as big of a dickhead I might be, and people might say it, is I don't forget the people that take a risk on me. I don't forget the people that are willing to go out of their way and say, hey, man, let's do an interview. Hey, man, let's cast this guy because we see something in him. I don't forget that. And as soon as somebody invests their time, energy, and money in me, I'm going to do the same in return. So that's the same thing. Is you approach me back in April, WrestleMania weekend, when we're in Philly, and you say, hey, man, let's do an interview. You could have simply just said, yeah, not him. So I appreciate that. And then you ask me, hey, can you come on the show? Absolutely. I'll make time for you. I'm a very busy man, but I will make time for you. So it's the same thing for the movie Sacred Mask. They were willing to invest in me and take a risk on me. And then when everything fell apart, I'm not the one that grabs and runs. I say, hey, we're in this together and we're going to finish this together and we're going to make something out of it. So that's the way I like to look at life. And that's the type of human being I am and the type of character I am.
Well, much respect. Well, let me ask you about your character, Jesse, in the movie. I know there's a line in the movie where the investigator calls Jesse, you know, he says something to the effect of like, hey, cool it, Hot Head, you know? So how much hot-headedness resembles Jesse, the character, as well as Max Castellanos, the person?
That's a very, now I know that you saw the movie. That right there,
you know, some people would have been like, oh yeah, I saw, yeah, I know. I'm quoting lines from it. I've seen the entire movie, yes.
I appreciate that. That right there, I gotta say, is the crossroads where Jesse and Max turn into the same person, obviously, which is me, because they came with the anger. And same thing is for me in the ring. You know, I like to start off, square off, you know, start wrestling. But as soon as you piss me off, hey, man, I go get the chair. And then I go get another chair. And then I start being more physical. So same thing right there is Jesse basically showed a preview of the anger that he has built up over the years of his father's death. And now that his grandma is missing, is basically his only loved one left. Of course he's going to be pissed off. He better be pissed off.
You know, a couple of things I really liked about the movie also was, one, you get to see like Madi Wrenkoski in the movie, who's Ren Sinclair now in WWE. So I'm not sure if that was her like acting debut as well too, but she actually got to use the Madi Wrenkoski name in the movie. And I also really like the flashback and the dream sequences as well too, and the montages that went into that. So can you give us a little insight into, you know, like it felt very I shouldn't say it felt very Rocky-ish. It had some like Rocky influences to it, but it was done just a bit different. So it wasn't like a ripoff of like Rocky montages from before.
Okay, so first off to Maddie, which is now known as Ren Sinclair in NXT, is I remember she was just starting off basically her wrestling career and training and stuff. And she happened to be at the right place, right time when we needed somebody extra for the film. So the director, David, he's like, hey, man, we're going to bring you on board. You have a good look. You move well, this and that. And I remember talking to her because she was like, man, I don't know. I'm unsure how it looks. I don't know if it looks bad. It's going to, it looks cringe. And I'm like, hey, I promise I already saw part of it. It looks great. And whenever it's going to be at the theater for the red carpet premiere, I give you my word, you're going to like it. And she's like, all right. And then she was there with us at the red carpet premiere last year. And she's like, okay, now I can sleep well. And it was awesome. So that was pretty cool. Her now where she's at, and I wish her the best in WWE. And definitely she's a very hard worker. And she has a lot of charisma. That's one thing I'll give her. She has a tremendous amount of charisma. And her promos when she was cutting with the little microphone and stuff right before she got
picked up, yeah.
I remember seeing it. I was like, yeah, man, that's different. That's original. And I hope somebody takes notice, and I'm glad they did. Going on to this dream sequence, to be honest, when we had a meeting about that, it was similar to the Rocky films. That kind of that trauma that your brain, your subconscious, your conscious mind is kind of pulling memories, but at the same time combining it with present day. And that's what we're trying to portray, and here's the thing is, the funny part is when we lost a hard drive, we had done those scenes and they were done completely different. That was the only ones I could say that I liked better that got lost, because I remember for 10 minutes, I was doing push-ups so I could look as big as possible on camera. And I did. And then it got lost and nobody saw it. So that's the only difference. But it was a pretty cool sequence. And man, as soon as you guys hear about part 2, because I already read the script, it's going to be 10 times better than part 1. I give you my word.
Oh, that's so awesome that part 1 was successful enough to make a part 2. That's so great to hear, and I'm so happy for you. And I also want to touch on, I know they did maybe a lot or most of the filming of the wrestling with the Hybrid School of Wrestling, and I know they're pumping out just talent after talent over there in Texas right now. So what was maybe the work relationship with Hybrid School of Wrestling?
So I want to give a shout out first to Chris Marvel, Hybrid of School of Wrestling. I go actually train there every now and then, every other week, go train with the guys. He has a tremendous program. He has tremendous students, and he's always been very good to me, very good to the to the cast of Sacred Mask. And yeah, man, they took part. There was a couple other promotions that were going to be part of it, but unfortunately, I guess they don't know how to do business and ended up falling apart. And yet again, I also noticed that there was a couple other promotions and businesses that didn't believe in the project. And that's one thing that I give to Chris. Since day one, man, he didn't say, but what's this? He was like, let's do it. And I tremendously respect them. So yes, shout out to Hybrid, Chris, all the guys in there kicking ass. And you got big names that stop by every now and then. So that's a pretty cool school, man. If you're looking for a wrestling school, it's a great school.
You mentioned doing good business, and obviously in a world of, I'm sure you get helped by plenty of places, that want you to come wrestle or and you got to look into them. How important is, I appreciate your good business. Like I sent you a message, we talked about it, we set a date, boom, we're making this happen. So I respect your business as, keeping your schedule and making things happen. So how important is it for you to have these places that do good business all the time?
So from not just in wrestling, but in personal life, is I have connections with a lot of important people, lawyers, doctors, different people that along the way, you're going to need each other's help. And I truly believe that to climb to the next level, just generally in life, from making money to being financially free, you need to have those relationships, because those people have already done it, and those people are gonna smarten you up of when it comes to real estate, when it comes to buying, different houses. Hey, you should buy this. Hey, you should sell it this time. When it comes to cryptocurrency, hey, it's this and that. I like gambling. When it comes to gambling, hey, if you're playing blackjack, you should stand on this. It's just basically studying the game in everything, not just in wrestling. So I truly believe it's keeping relationships healthy. But here's another thing is, I'm also a very aware person. I start looking and listening to conversations when it comes to certain individuals. When you sit down at a table, I usually like to be the guy that listens. And then I speak when I'm told to speak, because people will give you a heads up who they are. If you sit on a table and all they do is talk about somebody else and talk about somebody else's business and talk, what does it make you think by the time you stand up, you're next in line? Is that really a table you want to sit on? Then there's another table that they're talking about future goals. Hey, I want to do this. We should open this. We should do this. I put money here and don't do this. That's a table I want to sit. So there's been people I cut off in my life, and I see in their status online, and I say, oh, you know, this and that and loyalty. No, don't gaslight me, and don't try to manipulate me of why I cut you off. I cut you off for a very specific reason, because I saw through you. And once I see through you, you cannot change my perspective on you. And if I can see that you're just not a good person, I mean, why would I keep you around? I'm a very intelligent man. I'm a very aware man, and I challenge anybody who's watching, man or woman, be very aware of your surroundings. Be very aware of the promoters. Be very aware of who's trying to be your friend, who's giving you the good advice, or who wants you to fail. Because sometimes when people see potential and they see talent and they see this person might go far, but they might take my spot, what can I do to protect my spot? That exists in the big time, that exists in the small time, and that exists in an everyday job. It is very well and alive, but you just know how to play the game and know when to exit the room. And that's one thing that I have over the past 9 years. Wrestling has taught me how to develop and apply in my everyday life.
Speaking of your spot when we were in New Jersey / Philadelphia for Mania weekend, you did main event the show that I saw you at, and you wrestled Tony Leanda. And man, you guys, I'm going to say you guys chopped the shit out of each other. You guys beat the crap out of each other during that match. And then, you know, there's pictures of you guys on Instagram, you know, chilling in New York City too. So is it like a brotherly love that you guys could just go in there and beat the crap out of each other? Or maybe there's just a lot of respect gained from your wars in the squared circle?
So here's the way I'll break it down to you. I like that. You put me in a position, and I like that. You know how people say, "Oh, we can't break the fourth wall. You can't do this." Me and Tony Leanda go back since basically we started. We both started and trained in the same academy in San Antonio, Texas, and the Texas Wrestling Academy. We both started there. We've had feuds back and forth. And same thing we did in Philly. But it's the same thing like your brother. You may get in a fist fight with your brother in the backyard. Does it mean you're never going to talk to him again? Does it mean you can never have a beer with him? Or you can take it like a man and beat the shit out of each other back and forth and be like, yo, let's go get a Guinness. How about, hey, man, I like that. To me, that's men. To me, that's a warrior. To me, that's somebody's like, you know what? That's a badass right there. Not somebody who's super sensitive, like, oh, I never want to talk to him again. Get him away from me. He chopped me. No, chop me harder. I'll chop you back. Punch me. I'll punch you back. You kick me. I'll kick you. Boom. 1, 2, 3. Okay, you were the better man. Or 1, 2, 3. I was a better man. You know, I could have slipped him a banana peel and he rolled me up 1, 2, 3. Good for him. But yet I can swallow my pride and say, you know what? I'll kick your ass on the next one. Let's enjoy a beer for now. So I hope that explains it to you, Tony.
No, I loved it. I loved it. You're just, you know, you guys respect each other so much, but you know, when you're in the ring, you're going for the big payday. So everything gets put aside for those 15, 20 minutes that you guys are battling out. But you know, the big dogs, the men, we can go out and share a drink with one another afterwards.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this is Tony defeated me, and I'll take it as a man. He defeated me back in April. That's 5 months ago. Tell him to try now. See what happens. That day, I was tired. I was flying back and forth, this and that. He was chilling at his house. He lives close by. So, I mean, I'm not making excuses, but I'm just saying is, how about you come to my hometown, or you come where I'm at, and we'll see who the better man is. Because if I look back in the past, and you can YouTube this, there's about 52 matches where I kicked his ass back and forth.
Shit. Okay.
So you're gonna come at me because I have one loss. I had an off day.
Yeah.
You know, relax. I had to do your interview. I had to go
Yeah.
get ready. You know, I hadn't eaten that day. I was slightly dehydrated because I was out at a Philly bar. You know, so tell Tony to try it again. See what happens.
Wow. Yeah, it happens to the best of us. We can all have an off day. Now, you said 52 times. I don't know if that's an accurate number, but maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But do you actually, I know a lot of people actually keep track of how many matches they've wrestled since their very first match. Is that something that you do, Max?
No.
No. Okay.
That was just a number that clicked in my head. It's around there.
Okay, it's a rounder. Okay, 50 times. But you have no recollection about how many professional matches that you've had to this day.
No, that's honestly one thing. I've come across individuals that do keep track of it, and that's pretty cool for them. I just never thought about it because there was a point that I was doing about 5 training matches a week. On top of that, in the weekend, I was doing 8 matches on shows. I was doing about 8 matches per week, probably for a good 2 years straight. And man, I felt my body beat. So I mean, if we do the math, I got good real fast. And I understood the business real fast. I understood when it comes to the psychology of in the ring and just myself. But developing who I am now, I would say it took 9 years of being passed on because I don't know a certain person or my friend is not in a certain position. So you know what, even though you have everything it takes to be at the top and you're probably better than the majority of the guys that are right now, you know what, you wait. We'll put this person. And that pisses me off because I got limited time on this earth. I got limited time to become the person I know I can be. And the thing is, when I get in the ring with certain individuals and I see how they're not that good, but they're the top guys, you know, and it's just like, all right, makes sense. But it makes me want to work harder, makes me, you know, just not care. And like I said, it's these videos that you see me with women and you know, cigars or whiskey. That's life, man. And I enjoy it, to be honest with you. I enjoy it because if not, I wouldn't be doing it. So part of me wishes I showed this part of my life earlier, but, you know, everything, I believe in timing, and that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, I do want to ask you about those vignettes because I do appreciate somebody who goes the extra mile, not somebody that, I mean, I get it. We all have time constraints and, you know, sometimes you just got to cut a promo. Hey, Joe Schmo, I'm going to come get you this Saturday at so-and-so and this and that. Be there, get your tickets now. But you put a lot of creative juices into your promos and you really make people want to envy you, I should say, with your promos that you put out. And, you know, you're good at not only making people envy you, but maybe getting under your opponent's skin at the same time.
So this business, part of it is entertainment. And here's the thing is, we live in a world that is full of social media, YouTube videos, Reels, TikToks. If your video doesn't captivate the viewer within the first 10 seconds, they're going to swipe up and moving on to the next. So my number one thing always since I've been a kid and watched wrestling has been entrance, promos, wrestling. Believe it or not, my least favorite thing to do is be in the ring. I mean, as much as I enjoy hitting people, as much as I enjoy, if you give me the chance to cut a promo, I will cut a promo. If you give me a chance that we're just going to get your entrance for this, I'll do it, dude. I don't know why. It just always drew my attention. There's nothing against, you know, like, oh, I know how to work. I know how to wrestle. I know how to, you know, if you tell me go 30 minutes, 40 minutes, I will do it. And, but yeah, man, the vignettes is something that I've always been in the back of my mind. But same again, there's been people like, no, maybe, you know, yeah, don't wait on that. You know, post it later. And I'm in the position of, why I gotta ask for permission? I'm the one spending the money. I'm the one, it's my profile. I mean, you post whatever you want to post. If you want to be posting hate statuses all day long and this and that, but I can't post a wrestling vignette or something. So I said, you know what? F it. Let me just be who I am and let's see how far this goes. So yeah, I would say my first Vignette started in late 2021. There was a brief period that I stepped away from wrestling. And same thing, a decision I just decided to make. My mind was not in it. And I said, you know what, I'm done with this. And I kicked it to the curb. And I started doing other business ventures. I said, you know what, I'm going to make as much money as possible, and I'm going to be financially free, and I'm going to become whatever, this and that. This is a true story. I was with my brother in early 2023 at the Royal Rumble in the Alamo Dome. And we're sitting there, and I'm drinking beer, and we're watching the Alamo Dome, and we see Raquel Gonzalez come down. So Raquel Gonzalez, me and her, we both went to the same high school. So she's in WWE signed, and she was a couple years older than me. So I believe she was a senior and I was a sophomore. And we walked the same halls and everything. I remember my brother looked at me. He said, hey, how come she's there and you're not? And God damn, that bothered me so much. I finished drinking my beer. I tried not to sell it. I was like, but I kept asking myself that question. I'm 29 years old. It's not like I'm 49 years old. I'm already done, beat batter. I have no injuries. I'm healthy. I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm 6'2". I'm literally have all the attributes it takes to be a successful professional wrestler. But yet I'm over here because it's like, it's not going my way. So let me just, F this. I'm going to go make money. The very next day I started training. And then I said, I got to develop something. I'm going to develop something that as soon as I close this chapter, because eventually it doesn't matter who it is, one day you have to close this chapter in your life. And everything we know, everything in life is temporary. Your relation is temporary. The girl you're going to marry, one day either you're going to die first or she's going to die first. Everything's temporary in life. And I said, you know what? I want to leave no stones unturned. And part of me tells me that I haven't done all the work. So what is missing? I'm good in the ring. I understand the business. I understand the psychology. I already put in 80 years by this time, by then. I said, I need to develop a character. I need to develop basically who I am, but amplify it. And everything you see is really who I am in real life. There's just a camera in front of me. And the rest is history, man. I started my first Vignette. I put it out there. All these people are like, damn, who's that girl? Who's the other girl? Doesn't matter. Now we have 3 girls. Oh man, who's that girl? Who's it? Doesn't matter. And then we do this, and then we fly to Cancun, and then we go to Mexico, and then we go to Miami, and then. So it's basically being non-apologetic. I'm done trying to ask for permission. Hey, do you think? Hey, always asking for the validation of others. Hey, you think? Doesn't matter what they think. I'm going to do whatever the hell I want to do, because every person that has been successful in life, if you look at them, their breaking point is when they say, fuck it. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go balls to the wall, and I'm going to make it. If I don't make it, at least I fucking reach as far as I could, and I fell face first. I got up and I tried again and I tried again until it works. Because you look at Steve Jobs, you look at hell, the people that develop Uber. Imagine the guy at Uber back in 2009, 2010. Hey, I'm gonna develop this app that picks up people and the driver gets paid. Yeah, okay, good luck with that. Yeah, let's see who gets in strangers' cars. I haven't seen the numbers, but I'm sure it's close to $1 billion company industry. So what I'm saying is, people don't see when the project is being built. But if I see it and I believe it and I can feel it, I will manifest that into real life. If I stand in an acre that I bought and I'm looking around like, okay, I'm going to put my gym here, I'm going to put my house here, my car. Somebody else could be on the side and like, what are you looking at? You don't see it. That's the thing, you don't see it. But once it's done, oh my God, I knew you had it all this time. Shut up. Shut up. And here's the thing, there's some people that do deserve to be with you at the top because they were with you when nobody believed in you. But majority of the time, all of these people start coming once the house is built. Once the food is served, they're knocking at the door. Hey, do you remember me from high school? No, I don't. No, I don't, because when I asked you, hey, can you come see my show? I'm about to wrestle in front of 10 people. Can you come support? Sorry, I can't make it. I got to go to the movie theater. Sorry. Cool. So next time you ask me, hey, you think you can give me that front row ticket? Sorry. They're sold out. Payback's a bitch. And it takes time. And for me, my biggest revenge to every single ex-girlfriend, to every single business partner that has backstabbed me, to every single friend that has betrayed me, to every single promoter that has told me, fuck off, we don't see nothing in you. The biggest form of revenge is success. And it might take some time, but motherfucker, I'm going to do it.
Max, I fucking love that statement, bro. Seriously, like it's got me like hyped up and excited because I love, when you ask for people's advice and stuff, it's something I've worked on myself too. Is like, people are going to tell you what you want to hear, or they're going to tell you, maybe something to steer you in the wrong direction. But there are that core group of people that they'll be by your side the entire time. And you just have to like really focus in and focus around the people who are down with you, that they're going to be with you from day one to day 10 million or whatever it is from now, and go with that. And I think it's so inspirational and so motivating to hear just a statement that's just full of rawness.
It has to be, dude, because I've hit a point, and we'll go a little personal. It's hit to a point that, for example, is my dad. He hit kidney failure. He's still alive, but his kidneys are like, we don't want to go. Don't you think it pisses me off that I was like, man, I could be here and I could give him this gift of seeing his son be at this stage, whatever this and that, but they don't believe in me yet. That fuels me, and that's completely fine, because I understand that they don't see it yet, or maybe they do, but the timing is not right. And that's the thing in professional wrestling, everything's timing. I understand that. But that fuels me to say, I can't take a day off. I can't say, you know what, today I'm not going to the gym. I may be hungover. I may be feeling sick. I may be going through a heartbreak. I may be, I just lost $50,000 on a wrong deal that I did. I may just, God knows what. I'm still going to the gym. I'm still going to train. I still have to do my due diligence, because all that fuels me, because I'm seeing the bigger picture. I'm seeing 5 years from now. I'm seeing 10 years from now. I'm seeing where you're standing in front of multitudes of people, and you look around and you're like, I'm so glad I didn't quit. That's where people can relate to me. That's where people, because at the end of the day, is everybody has a dream. Everybody's hungry for something. Everybody wants to go somewhere, make their parents proud, want to leave a legacy. They want the kids to look up and like, that's my dad or that's my mom. Everybody wants that. But not everybody gets it, because it's that damn hard. And if it's that damn hard, then you're going to tell me I don't feel like doing it today. I'm not motivated. I'm depressed. This happened to me. Big fucking deal. Suck it up. It's going to happen again. This situation is teaching you for you to be stronger and better for the next one. And then when you beat the next one, you keep climbing that hill until you hit the top, whatever your hill is, because the thing is, success is different for everybody. For me, success might be, make $600,000 this year, smoke 10 cigars, have 3 girlfriends, be on TV. That may be success for me. To some people, success may be, I want to have 2 kids and a dog and be married in a household and make $50,000 a year and just be happy and do fun stuff on Saturday. Good for you. That's your success. To other people, success may be, I just want to be single my whole life and date as many women as possible, travel the world. Good for you. You have to find your purpose. You have to find your success. You have to find what is meant for you. And that's the thing, is how can you hate on that? How can you hate on that logic? How can you hate on what brings us all together, which is basically trying to go after our dreams? But it's so hard, because as soon as you get running, boom, you trip. As soon as you get going, boom, something happens. What do you do there? You realize the mistakes you did, because all the actions we do have consequences. So you say, you know what, when I start running again and I see that obstacle, I'm going to dodge it, because I know how to do it. I've been studying the game. I've been studying the playbook. Well, I think football teams, they study the other team before they're going to play. And why? Hey, look at this open look. I'm not a football expert, but I know they do that because they want to win. But if it's like the Cowboys, then yeah, they don't study anything, And
that's another story for a whole nother podcast there. Well, let me ask you, you said, you have to learn from your mistakes and, grow from that. What would you say is maybe a mistake that you made that you really like saw it and that you really took it and did a 180 with it and like just use that to improve yourself?
Learning to say no. I would say that has been the best thing that I've turned to 180. Say no. Hey, can you do this booking for, and you're gonna wrestle this person, and they might hurt you because they're not trained professionally. But you know what? No. Why? What's the game? Oh, you got a big head now. No, I don't have a big head. I'm just being smart. Why am I gonna go and injure myself with somebody who's not properly trained? How funny! I had to go get trained. I had to pay my tuition to turn professional wrestler. I had to travel all the miles. I had to do everything. But just because this person's your boy, no. Hey, maybe you should, no. Hey, well, what about if you change your name to, no. Fuck off. So I would say that some people might learn from this. Learn how to say no. It's going to save you a lot of time. It's going to save you a lot of headache. And it's going to save you a lot of money.
Have you ever found yourself in a situation? I know I've spoken to many guys on the indies, and a lot of times you are booked with high quality talent. Have you ever found yourself in a position where you were like, yeah, no, like this is not happening?
Yeah, dude. It had to be, I mean, it still happened because I was already there. But per one promoter, I got booked to another promoter in Laredo, Texas, from this hole in the wall backyard. And I was like 2.5 years in at the time. This has to be 2017 or so, 2018. And it was like a parking lot, dude. And it was just, the shits is an understatement. I mean, literally, I was changing next to a trampoline. And it was a backyard. There was like a doghouse, and everybody's like, ha ha ha. People were getting drunk. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? But what did I say? Yes, I'll do it. I don't want to piss you off. I want to be on your good side. That's one of them there. So, and then there was like a couple injuries that night. And looking back at it now that I'm more mature and more aware and stuff, like, dude, what was I doing? Like that person, I didn't owe that person anything, but I felt, and that's the thing. Sometimes people put in positions that they make you feel like you owe them something. Hey, I brought you in. Hey, I put in the word for you. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that tremendously. Thank you very much. But we're done.
Yeah.
Don't try to fucking manipulate me into, hey, you still owe me for this. Hey, we're blood for life. No, we're not. Mm-hmm. I don't even know your middle name. We're not tight for shit. And I don't care, dude. If people, oh, Max forgot where he came from. No, I didn't. I clearly remember where it came from. And I have to remember where it came from so I don't go back to fucking square one. Because you know what? I like to go up. I don't like to go back. Go up, back, up. Those are the people that never get anywhere. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Fuck out. It's just not me anymore. And that's how it used to be. So yeah, that's one memory that lives in my mind that was just like, why? But it had to happen for me to now understand. And that's the thing. Sometimes things have to happen as much as they hurt in the moment. And you're in the middle of the storm and you're driving and you can't see the wipers are going as fast as they can. You still can't see. The best thing to do is pump the brakes, get to the side, wait for the storm to pass. Even if you see a small sunshine coming out from the clouds, all right, how am I going to make this happen? I've been there before, and I promise you I'm going to be there again because everything's temporary. Same like the good times don't last, the bad times don't last. Enjoy them both because you're going to learn a lot more from the bad times than the good times. The good times is kind of like a time for you to enjoy all the bullshit you went through. But just know that everything goes down, everything that goes up must come down, and everything that goes down must come up.
Yeah, I kind of have a similar story as I was starting off my, interviewing career, I guess you could say, in right before COVID happened. And I was, trying to reach out to promotions and kind of get my foot in the door. And I went to a promotion and they promised me kind of like the world. I had interviews set up and we get there. And I mean, we were disrespected. We were like treated like we didn't belong there. Like we weren't important. And I kind of felt horrible. I'm like, oh, is this, is there something here? Is there something I should, or should, is there a future to this thing? And I felt really bad. And come years later, the same promoter had reached back out years later after he's seen me travel to all these places and is like, hey, can you come out to the show and this and that? And I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. Cause I remember, first impressions are such a huge thing. And, I was like, it's just not going to happen. So I think, saying no is something I've always had a difficult. My wife will even tell you, like I'm the guy. I have to put her in charge to say no for me because I'm like, well, I'll give him one more shot and we'll try, because I try to always, see the good in people. But like, it felt good to say no because I was like, you know what? I remember how we were treated and disrespected. Now you see what's going on, and it's just not going to happen now. So yes,
that's the thing. I don't forget.
Yeah,
I don't. You helped me. Thank you for this and that, for the bad. I won't forget. And then I'll have to be the judge of, okay, is it better to stay? Is it better to leave? And that's the thing. If I'm gonna blame somebody for the bad, I'm thanking for the good. Yeah. But it doesn't mean I'm gonna stick around. That's the big difference. Some people think, well, I did one good day out of the month. You're gonna stick around? No, I'm not. I'll see you, man. Good luck to you. Don't take it personal. This is business, right? I heard those words at the very beginning of my career. Don't take this personal. It's business. Well, I'll tell you right back. Don't take it personal. It's all business.
Speaking of business, the wrestling world recently lost, from what I've been told, I never got to really say anything other to him than, hey, how are you? It's nice to meet you. But you did have a picture with him that you posted on Instagram. Kevin Sullivan did recently pass away. And many people say just how important he was. I know even here in Miami to CCW, the promotion I cover, how important he has been in their growth. And I know you have a picture with him. Is there any thing that Kevin Sullivan gave you tips with? Any stories that you are okay to share with?
I got to work with Kevin for about 8 months of my career. So, and this was consecutive, 8 months straight. So back in 2020, I don't know if you heard of it, SWE. It was a very big promotion in the Texas area, in the Texas scene, North Texas. So me and Moonshine Mantel had our first match. And I remember Kevin was there in the locker room. And Moonshine asked him, hey, can you watch your match? So we did the match, and I remember putting Moonshine's head by the post, and I swung a steel chair. Ambulance came, they're stretching him out, this and that. People are like, oh man, Max is not a safe worker. If you can still make people believe in today's world, as I'm going to say, then you're doing a real good job. And Kevin pulled me to the side. He's like, kid, he's like, you got something. I said, Kevin, he's like, take my number. He's like, I want to talk to you more. I was like, all right, cool, no problem. So I get his number back and forth. This was the birth of Max Castellanos before I stepped away, but Max Castellanos, which I am today now, much more amplified than I was before. And did a promo, the house, backyard, pool. I had about 5 girls, had a cigar, had my butler bring my whiskey, boom, 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 edited everything because I do my own editing, everything on top of that. Because I like things done a certain way. And that's the thing is if I'm going to pay somebody and it's like, oh, change this, change that, and then they roll their eyes, you know what? I'll show myself how to do it so I don't have to be asking people, hey, when is the video ready? If I want it ready tonight, I'll work on it for the next 8 hours. Long story short, saying that Kevin Sullivan sent it to Teddy Long. Teddy Long calls me back. And Teddy Long is a tremendous person, such a good human being that he's been to me in my career. And especially he was there. He's like, Max, goddamn, that's a hell of a job. Then Kevin calls me like, God damn it, son, you better give me a ticket for WrestleMania. I got to be in the front row. I was like, Kevin, thank you very much. I was like, is there any feedback on? And here's the thing, I take, you know how I say, I don't like to ask for validation, but when it comes to people who have earned their stripes in the business, then yes, I will ask, hey, what do you think about this? If I'm saying people who haven't done anything, why am I going to be looking for their validation? It makes no sense. So I'm like, Kevin, any feedback, this and that? He's like, man, he says, you even tell the girls they did a great job. He says, I have nothing to say. He's like, are you going to do more? I was like, I'll keep doing them. And I kept doing them. Me and Moonshine went on a 6 to 8 month program where we had a cage match, we had a bull rope match, we had a no DQ match. I believe it was a lumberjack match, if I'm not mistaken. We had all types of matches. Even Mark Henry was there at one of them, and he gave me props. Like, hey man, he's like, change this up, add this, but you guys have something good going. And Kevin took care of me in many ways. I remember one of the shows, he came to me, he said, hey, your envelope is going to be heavier tonight. He says, good job, you earned it. I said, thank you, sir. Started getting paid more than I ever had gotten paid. And it was because of him. He would take the time as soon as I would text him. And he's like, son, he's like, I don't know why they haven't picked you up. I don't know why. He's like, it's a matter of time. You and Moonshine's a matter of time. He's like, you guys are bringing back the old school Texas wrestling that is missing. You guys are two big boys. You guys are beating the shit out of each other. You guys are physical. You guys are real. I mean, literally people are coming to see what you guys are going to do next, from doing an restroom brawl into me breaking up 55-inch plasma TV on his back, putting Clorox in his head, trying to burn him alive. And all this is on YouTube. To being busted open in the cage match, I brought a steel chair full of bar wire. And I dropped it. He caught me and it cut me. Man, it was a tremendous, but everything was behind Kevin Sullivan and also Teddy Long, that they both believed in us. And they said, yes, you guys have freedom. Here's some input. Here's this, here's that. And they would take the time. Kevin would call me. We would talk on the phone for 45 minutes. And I miss him to this day. The last conversation I had with him was over text message. And he messaged me, hey, he's like, send me your latest promo. And I did, which was this year. And he says, I'm going to try to get you up in Florida so we can meet and talk. And that was basically it. Then he got sick and he passed away. But I'm always going to be grateful to Kevin. I'm always going to be grateful to Teddy, to the whole SWE department that took care of me, took care of Moonshine Mantell. And they give us the liberty to be main eventers and bring something different to the show. We didn't do any high-flying moves. We didn't do – everything was real. Everything was raw. And hell, even the people at the crowd was like, yeah, I wouldn't fuck with those guys. And that's the thing that, you know, independent wrestling sometimes is missing, is the realism where if you're watching a boxing match, you're like, yeah, I wouldn't fuck with that guy. He'll probably kick my ass. Same thing with wrestling. Yeah, I wouldn't mess with that guy. But if you have a dorky 140-pound guy walking around like, you know, I'm a wrestler and I have this. Shut up. I'm going to go to the movies. I'm going to go do something else. Shut up. So, yeah, man, props to Kevin and cheers to Kevin. I'll finish this glass of whiskey. Tony, you get one more question. The whiskey is done. It's been a tremendous interview, but I think we're hitting our time limits because I got things to do.
Absolutely. You are a very busy guy.
This is to Kevin.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
R.I.P. Kevin Sullivan. And thank you for all the hours and hours of entertainment that you have provided all of us, not even just because you were in the ring, but with your creativeness behind the scenes. So definitely.
For the business and just the human being he was with me. Maybe, you know, some people have, because here's the thing, is some people may have bad stories about me. Oh, he's an asshole. Or some people may have great stories about me. I think everybody has that. I'm sure people talk, oh yeah, Tony's an asshole. I mean, to me, it's always going to be the way I was treated, the way I was, you know, was I disrespected? I have nothing bad to say.
Yeah. Well, let me get to that one last question then. You do have a picture on your Instagram and you said it's been quite the year, and it's a picture of The Rock pointing at you while you're on WWE television. So, and then there's a picture of you backstage with CM Punk backstage as well too. So the WWE ride, the year of 2024, how much excitement, you know, it feels like you're feeling the vibe, you're feeling the groove, you know, as we're here in September of 2024. How has this year been in the roller coaster that has been your career, and where do you see it going in 2025?
So with those two things, I mean, I was given an opportunity and I made the best out of the opportunity. Yes, you know, that picture that was floating around, because it was not just my Instagram, it was like floating around. And after it floated around for a few times and in video, I posted there in the back file, like, so I don't lose this picture, I keep it saved there. But it was a good opportunity given, and I tried to make the best out of it. And it was a privilege, meeting The Rock and working with The Rock. And he saw in that moment that he's like, this kid wants it. Okay, I'll give him a moment. I was like, that's pretty cool, man. And that's the thing, man. Is everything that I've been giving is I make the best out of it because it's not going to last. And that's the thing is, I don't know why some people say, oh, we shouldn't think like that. I prefer to think like that than to think like something's going to last forever, because that's a complete lie. When I see something is fleeting, and it's, that's why one of my favorite quotes is may get it wrong. It's obscurity. I was by Napoleon Hill. Obscurity is forever. No, glory is fleeting. Obscurity is forever. So basically it's everything's fleeting time. We can't get back time. That's why I see time as the most valuable asset we have on earth. And every post that I post is basically, where I'm at, or a quote or this and that. But I truly see, man, that I have my foot on the gas. And we'll see what ends up, because you're driving and somebody might come knocking over here, somebody knocks over here. I don't know, but I've learned it's better to speak about the success once it's done than to speak about it before it's done, because I believe in bad energy, and there's a lot of people that are very envious and jealous, and they don't want to see you do good. So when you say, hey man, I want to do this, hey man, I want to do that. Oh yeah, okay, all right. Believe it or not, you take home that energy with you. I'd rather say, yeah, I did that. That's pretty cool. I did it. So we'll leave it at that. Is got my foot on the gas. Time will tell, but there's nothing slowing me down. I just turned 31 years old, and I have the next 10 to 15 years in front of my life, if God gives me enough days on this earth, which I'm tremendously thankful for, and I will not let one go on waste. Or, say, oh, not today. I'm going to go as far as I can.
Absolutely. Well, Max, I really did enjoy our conversation this evening. What cool events do you have coming up, and where can people follow you for all your content that you're putting out?
So people can follow me. I'm the most active on Instagram at Max Castellanos 80. On Facebook, same thing, Max Castellanos 80. At Twitter is now X, is Max Castellanos 15. I have my YouTube channel. I also have TikTok at Max Castellanos 80. So basically, majority was Max Castellanos 80. I'm going to start soon working on the Sacred Mask Part 2. I actually got casted for another film this weekend, so I have to film this weekend for another film.
Nice.
I was able to do a couple commercials. One of them is for Northern Tool. It's a big company here in Texas. Next show is going to be tomorrow, Texoma Pro. I'm going to be making my debut. And then I got Reality Wrestling. Shout out to Reality Wrestling, the greatest promotion in Texas, and soon to be, I truly believe, greatest promotion in the United States, man. It's a kick-ass promotion. Booker T has been tremendously great to me. Kevin, which is Booker's right hand, Brad Gilmore, great people. If you guys haven't checked out Reality Wrestling, I highly recommend go to their YouTube channel, go to their page, give them a follow. They put out nothing but the great stuff, man. And they got big names coming down from NXT, from WWE. They recently just had Maven, they had the Boogeyman, they had Teddy Long. So much great stuff, man. Also TWL, Texas Wrestling League, that's down in the valley around the McAllen area, Edinburgh, Weslaco, with TV Azteca, Texas. So great people. They're broadcasting live, great shows, sold out shows. Also GCWA, Gulf Coast Wrestling Alliance in Corpus Christi. They just had a TV deal. So me and Terrell Temple, we have this blood feud that hopefully is going to end this year. But I lost one of my straps. I was put through a table of tacks. I got busted open pretty badly. You can see all that stuff on YouTube on my page. But yeah, man, it's top tier promotions, and there's more to come. So stay tuned.
I know you got to head up. I would like to ask you one more question, Max. You mentioned the TV deal with one of the promotions. How great is it for you to see? The majority of people just know WWE, AEW, maybe Impact, NWA, but the fact that all these independent, or a lot of these independent wrestling companies are actually getting deals with the CW and deals with local television. How great is that for you to see?
It's great, man. I mean, like the Azteca Texas is down at TWL. They majority of the time they just cover boxing or they cover different news and stuff. But they've been around since I was a kid. I remember watching the Azteca and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Showing boxing or whatever. Now they're covering us. Now you got the microphone of the Azteca right in front of me. I mean, they were just there at the Canelo fight. They were at the Floyd Mayweather fight when he fought in Mexico recently. I think it was last month. It is so cool to see how wrestling has gotten hot again, how it used to be in the late 90s, early 2000s. And now with the whole Netflix deal that is going to WWE, it's just tremendous because the opportunity for not just them, but for everybody. It's kind of like, hey, let's go watch a wrestling show. Wrestling got cool again.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, I got to say, one of the guys you got to give props to is The Rock. He made wrestling cool again, dude. With the whole, when he came back earlier this year, he did the whole Hollywood Rock and with Roman. That's pretty cool, man. As a fan, I was like, that's pretty cool, man, to see. And I think it's awesome for all the talents because the guys that you see right now in the independent scene, believe it or not, a small percentage is going to be in the big stage one day. And I'm going to be in that small percentage. I vowed to myself, I refuse to die and not make it to the very top.
Hell yeah.
And I think this TV deals is giving everybody experience to see how it actually works in the small scale. So whenever you're given an opportunity, you got to grab it and make the best out of it because you might never get it again.
It's true. You mentioned The Rock. When I was in Philadelphia, somebody had picked us up in an Uber. I think it was like the day after our interview, and they were taking us from a bar to where we were going. And they're like, oh, you here for Mania weekend? And we're like, yeah. They're like, oh, The Rock is here. And like the Uber driver knew nothing about anything else that was on the card other than The Rock. So he brings an entire group of people that wouldn't be watching into it to get eyes seen on the people who should be getting eyes on them.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, that guy has, he's done it all. And that's the thing is actions speak for themselves. And I would say that he took a big part of it becoming, I guess, cool again, because people that would see wrestling when they were kids, sometimes they cannot relate to today's product. Oh, The Rock. Oh yeah, I remember when I was in high school. I remember when I was in middle school. Let me watch it. So that's what it is. It's same thing is, for example, I'll tell this cool story before we close. I'm a huge 50 Cent fan, and I've told this to close people. And I got one of my girls over here probably like, oh, you're gonna tell this story again? I'll tell this story. I was in Atlantic City. I was gambling in Atlantic City, and 50 Cent happened to be in town. And he was just one casino away. So me and my boy, we got tickets. We go see 50. We're drinking whiskey, whatever. So that 50 comes on, like, yeah, having a good time. 50 grabs his jacket and throws it in the crowd. Guess who catches it? I catch it. Oh, right place, right time. I'm like, whoa. People are like, yo, I'll give you $2,000 for it. I'm like, no. Looked up the brand, everything. It's a $2,000 jacket. Now that's something I have. That's a memory. I said, you know what? One day when I bump into him, I'm going to get a picture with him. I'm going to get an autograph and then frame it on my wall. Because the thing is 50 cents to some people like, oh, yeah, 50 cents from early 2000s. Well, when I hear 50 cents, it takes me back to when I was a kid. It's the same thing to kids or grown-ups. Like, oh, The Rock. Yeah, I remember The Rock. Let me watch it. And that's the thing is sometimes people like to remember, their childhood or their teens and stuff. So I would pay to go see a 50 Cent concert, even though Candy Shop was 20 years ago. I would still pay to see it over Drake. And a lot of people would say, oh, that sucks. Yeah, but 20 years from now, when Drake's on tour at 50 years old, people are going to be like, yeah, I'll go see Drake because it reminds me of. So anyways, you get the point.
Absolutely. Well, Max, thank you so much for joining me here on the channel. I know, again, you are a very, very, very busy man, so I do appreciate this hour and 5 minutes of your time tonight. As for us here on Tone In Entertainment, this weekend, we got CCW, Rumble in the Jungle. We'll be doing some interviews down here in Miami. And next week, we have another theme podcast as well, too. We're going to be announcing the theme and the participants tomorrow on Tone In Entertainment's Instagram. So, Max, again, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Tony, and we'll talk soon.
No, for sure. Keep the pedal to the metal. And guys, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that red subscribe button so you can stay tuned in here to Tone In Entertainment for future videos.
Subscribe to the channel. Do it. Go now. Do it now.